everybody, and welcome to MBH's Fireside Chat. Today, my guest is Vicky Smith, and she's joining us from Samuel Hobson House. It's a home care service, and I'm welcoming her as our guest. So welcome, Vicky. How are you today?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you, Melissa, and you?
I'm doing excellent.
Good,
So
good.
Where are you from?
So I'm from the United Kingdom in a county of Staffordshire,
Okay.
and a town of Newcastle-under-Lyme.
Is that north of London or south of London?
Not very good. It is north of London.
North of London.
People normally tend to find us in between Manchester and Birmingham. We're sort of nearly in the middle, so yeah.
Very cool. So one of the things about MBH is that it's a global company. And so the unique part about it is that we all face the same kind of challenges. And we also think about fireside chats, and each part of us are in different parts of the world. So when we say you're sitting by the fire and we're sitting by a fire, where do you envision that being where you're from?
So, well, the UK, it does get some bad weather, but we do get some lovely late summer days. So my idea of our fireside chat now is we're outside the UK, it's a warm summer's evening, and we've got the log burner outside, the chimney, and we've got a nice glass of wine. That's where we are.
And that is a perfect place to be fireside chat. I'll have a glass of wine with you.
Yeah.
So you are a little bit of a unique principal in the MBH model. Oftentimes it's those that come on are principal owners. And one of the principal owners of Samuel Hobson House was one of the principals already from Acacia Learning. And you are a manager of that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm the principal care manager, and I'm also the nominated individual for Samuel Hobson House. So the principal care side is me managing the company, and the nominated individual side is my responsibilities under CQC, who regulate us. So it's sort of like two roles, but they're together.
Very cool. And how long have you been in the home health care industry?
Oh, goodness me. Ever since I left school, I went to college and did health and social care at college, and then went to try and do a bit of nurse training and had a placement in a care home. And it was something that I absolutely loved. And I've done care ever since. It's sort of like, you don't do care for the money, you know what I mean? You do it because it's your vocation and you want to do it. Yeah, so yeah. I've been with Samuel Hobson now since 2014, so quite a while.
Yeah, that's 8-9 years, something like that?
Yeah.
So obviously, now, when did you join MBH? When did Samuel Hobson House join MBH?
Yeah, so we joined in January of 2020, right before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun time to join a company like MBH, right? Yeah. And then, of course, the world shuts down in March, 2 months later. Yep. And your sector of healthcare was affected more than anything because it's home healthcare, right?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. So can you explain some of the challenges you went
through? I think, I don't know about other countries, but I do know in the UK, there was quite a lot of bad press around care homes at the time. And I know it's had a profound effect on the businesses and on the residents and the staff within the homes. I think the challenges were keeping up to date with the guidance. I mean, you're already busy doing what you do in your roles anyway. I think initially many care homes, as well as the NHS, struggled to get hold of PPE. I mean, that was quickly rectified, but it was sort of like a race against time to sort of get as much PPE as we could. And I think it was the unknown. I think it was the worry of the threat of it coming into the care home and the potential damage of what it could do. So yeah, quite a lot of challenges really.
And did MBH, being part of MBH, help you with those challenges?
100%, yeah. So in terms of PPE, many of the principals supported me in going to different suppliers, and they had some PPE available, so they give that to me. We unfortunately had an outbreak of COVID in the home in November, so we did really well from March till no, we did so well. We thought we were on the home straight, but we weren't, and then it just hit us, and it was like just an explosion going off in the home. It was a really difficult time, and personally I found it really tested who I was and the job that I do, and the reasons why I did it. And there did come a point where I thought, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I remember conversations I had with Vicky Sylvester, and Ryan, and also Callum, and they were so supportive, and so were the other principals. We had calls and chats with them. There was just words of wisdom, words of encouragement, flowers. Just I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have gone through that awful time without their support.
So do you find that that's one of the big benefits of being one of the principals?
Yeah. There's so much support around you because we're all from different sectors, different verticals. Everyone's got their own. They can bring their own dynamic to the group. You know what I mean? So even though, for example, construction. People might think, well, what's that got to do with the healthcare vertical? You know what I mean? But it does. I mean, one of the things that when we were allowed to have visitors in the home, because obviously we had to shut to visitors, so the poor residents couldn't see the families. And one of the things that they said that we could do, the government, you could have outdoor structures built. So Ian from Geisha, he came and built me a beautiful lodge summer house in the back garden of the care home. So yeah, and it's about having that. It's about having that connection. You know what I mean? So you can work. You can collaborate with one another, and yeah.
So that's interesting that one sector can help another sector. That's right. I think the balance and the diversity is what is so attractive for investors, right? When you look. And hearing your story, right? Look, COVID is going to affect your sector. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I don't want to sound all doom and gloom about COVID, you know what I mean? But I don't think we can have this chat and me ignore it as part of being part of the health and social care industry. I mean, healthcare, it's a difficult, it's challenging every day without COVID, you know what I mean? We have our challenges. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
Here's the thing. What about the growth of the healthcare sector? So let's take a non-COVID environment, right? Yeah. Prior to that, let's face it, the baby boomers are there. The projection of growth for the home care industry, what is that being like? What is that post-COVID?
So post-COVID, I mean, the population, it's an aging population. Everyone's living a lot longer. So, and I'm not saying that everyone who's elderly or has got illnesses needs to go into a care home or have home care. But the older you get, the more frail you get and the more support that you might need. So this industry, it will grow because as we as a population, we're all going to get older and we may need that care need towards the end of time, end of our lives, if you know what I mean. Prior to COVID, I mean, we were looking at setting up domiciliary care. So that's sort of like care in the community where people stay in their own houses. And then you have care staff that go into their homes to support them and sort of keeping them at home while they can. And what our hopes for that was that it could feed into Samuel Hobson House. So that is something that we were looking at prior to COVID. And obviously, once restrictions start lessening a little bit more and we feel a lot safer, then that's something that I'd like to pick up on again. and look into that.
I think that's actually a really great sector in that respect, and care for them at their homes. I think we all will look at things differently post-COVID anyway. People are going to feel safer in their homes. They did before, but even more so now, given what happened with COVID.
Yeah.
So I think that sector will do well post-COVID. And that's the beauty of this model, right? So while the construction was at a halt for a period of time, right? And now they're excelling.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about that collaboration, because you and Acacia work together, because Acacia is an educational center.
Yep. Yep.
What is the relationship between the two companies?
Yeah. So Acacia, we use Acacia for all the staff's training. So whether that be face-to-face training, so like first aid, moving and handling, it could be the qualifications in health and social care, management qualifications. I know I've done one myself with Acacia, and I know a number of the other managers have as well. Oh goodness. And during COVID, they put on training for us in regards to infection control, mental health awareness, that was all free for us to access.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the beauty of it. That one business was able to support yours. You support them in the sense that you give them the business of the training, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was great of Ian, because he's always, I can't wait to have my conversation with him. But Ian helped build that facility for you guys, so you could get outside a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I should have asked him to build that chimenea for you.
Yeah.
But, no, so if people who are watching this, right, are looking at MBH in a couple of different aspects, right? They're wondering if should their company join MBH, and what would you say to them, having gone through your experience?
I would say don't hesitate, just join. The support I've had during the COVID time, but put COVID to one side, as a manager, as someone who runs the business, I feel as though I've grown so much myself in terms of my knowledge, my skills. Before I wouldn't be doing nothing like this, you know, to me, and this would be like, oh goodness me, no, I can't discuss business and things. But I think I've grown in confidence, and because obviously we have our tactical meetings and things where we keep up to date with one another. It's just really great to hear what's going on in other companies, and then we can discuss things that are going on, and yeah, it's great.
And then there's also the perspective of investors that look to say, should we invest in MBH as a business model? And what would you say to that based on your experience?
100%. All the businesses within MBH, they're supportive of one another, if that sort of makes sense. So like you say, the construction was down, you know, to me, during COVID, whereas the education vertical, they were up, you know, to me. We were sort of in the middle. So I think we all sort of balance each other out.
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous for an investor to look at just one sector.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know why Wall Street and big firms like to do that. They put all, you know, a vehicle sector of like hospitality or healthcare, and yet when you do that, when the market corrects, it's very damaging.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is they can't diversify because the managers don't know those businesses, right? And one of the nice part is that I don't know healthcare, but that's a talent pool, that's a love, that's a passion, that's your calling, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's real estate investing. I love that. That's my passion. That's my calling. And yet you get the benefit of having a talent pool.
Yes.
Of people that you can't hire.
Yeah.
I would never work for somebody. And that talent pool is from just pure passion, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good point that you bring out.
Yeah. And I think we all have different skills and different attributes that we bring to MBH and to our own companies. And I think together, that's what makes us special. I really do.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was talking with David, and we've been on some calls with him, that he shared some of his marketing techniques because he was a
Yeah,
marketing director.
yeah.
Give us some real good points for our businesses.
Hmm.
And then we have some accounting points that came in that, like you mentioned, you've grown so much as a manager
Yeah,
in a business sense.
yeah,
And I can say that too, as a principal and an owner. It's really perfected my professionalism as a business owner, a businesswoman. I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
and I don't think we've gotten that since we all left college, so it's nice. Iron sharpens iron. Well, is there any last thoughts you'd like to say about MBH or Hobson House, where you see the future of both of those companies?
I can see MBH just growing. I would love to see more healthcare coming on to join our vertical. You know what I mean? It'd be amazing to be able to speak with people on the same, you know what I mean, who've got the same understanding. Yeah, and Samuel Hobson. It's an amazing home, and I'm so proud of it.
Very cool. And how many people are in Hobson Home?
39. So we registered for 39 residents, and it's a dementia friendly home. So even though we look after the elderly, we also cater for those who have dementia. So yeah.
Very cool. And you're right. As we live longer, right, we
Yeah.
didn't plan. A lot of us didn't plan right for our future because the
Yeah.
average expectancy was, 60s, 70s, and when 80s, so
Yeah.
as we're living longer, we're going to need those healthcare support.
Yeah. Our oldest resident is 100.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do see the future of the healthcare going on to grow post-COVID very quickly.
Yeah.
And yes, it's unfortunate, it's a little step back, but the nice part is that you have that support, you have that collaboration
Yeah.
to restructure so that it can be much more successful post-COVID.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, Vicky, thank you so much for joining us on this Fireside Chat, and I look forward to hearing from you again.
Yes. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.